Hi, my name is John, and this is my good buddy Andy, and you're listening to the Packers Blitz podcast, the podcast done by two diehard Packer fans who survived the dark times of the 1980s Packers football and live to talk about it. This podcast is dedicated to the world's greatest fans, Packer fans. Andy, let's go. Let's get just right into it. Let's rip the Band-Aid off and let's go. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything hurts, John. My heart hurts, my head hurts, everything hurts.
Doesn't it though?
Took a swig of water trying to, keep everything lubricated there.
Keep that lubricated, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear
you. Yep. Yeah. So I don't know.
Here we go.
I don't know how this is going to go, but a good thing I wrote out some things because otherwise this would have been the shortest podcast we've ever done for sure. So, all I'm going to say is two things to start off here. Number one, that we got jinxed by Colin Cowherd all last week.
Of course,
he put the Packers in his top 10 NFL power rankings, or what he calls it, his herd hierarchy.
Oh, geez.
Then he made a bold proclamation that the Packers would make the playoffs.
Oh, no.
Well, that all changed Monday night, didn't it?
Yeah.
Packers fans all over the globe are now in mourning for what might have been if Colin hadn't opened up his mouth.
Yeah.
The second thing that I wanted to say to start off here, exactly a week ago, according to A to Z Sports' Zach Reagan, and this was what he said, is a quote from him. Based on the schedule, there's absolutely no reason why they fail, end quote. That was in reference to the fact that the Packers and Matt LaFleur had an unbelievable 16-0 record in December. Was the second longest December winning streak in NFL history. The Chargers, the San Diego Chargers, had 18 straight from 2006 to 2009.
Oh, interesting.
Of course, we got jinxed again. That streak ended at 16 when the Packers lost to a team that Zach Reagan thought that they couldn't possibly lose to. Epic jinxes.
Yes, sir.
Epic. So, any thoughts and comments on that before we move on tonight?
No, it's just the jinx. It's the same thing they do. When you have your field goal kicker up, and whether you're, whatever team, it doesn't matter, right? And what do they say? How do they jinx them? They'll go like, "Hey, Andy is 30 for 30 in field goal attempts from inside 25 yards." And then what happens to Andy? Shank.
Yep.
There goes the ball, wide left.
Yep.
So stop. Okay.
Laces out. Yeah.
All right. So let's get into it, buddy.
Yeah. So I'm so distressed and depressed after the Packers 24-22 loss at the hands of quarterback Tommy DeVito. I had to take a big deep breath on that. And the now winners of 3 in a row, the New York Giants. They've won 3 in a row, John. They were 2-8 and now they're 5-8.
That's insane.
I'm so depressed and distressed and everything that I'm gonna make a solemn vow to everybody that this will be one of our shortest podcasts tonight. It probably won't be, but we're gonna give it a shot. So
we're going to.
Again, the Packers unfortunately had a demoralizing loss, 24-22 to the Giants. John, as I talk a little bit here, if you want to chime in, go right ahead.
Absolutely, buddy.
So here are some of the harsh realities for a young 6-7 team. Yep, we're now 6-7. Everybody, we're below 500 again.
Yeah, of course.
So some harsh realities. So here's my take after this tough loss as a lifelong diehard Packers fan. The Packers are fool's gold,
Mhm.
fool's green and gold. So everybody out there, fool's gold is something that appears valuable or someone thinks is valuable, but in reality is worthless.
Mhm.
So here it
Mhm.
is. Packers fans, including me, were bamboozled.
Oh, bamboozled.
Bamboozled, look that one up. Bamboozled into thinking that the Packers were golden after two impressive wins against two division leading teams, the
Mhm.
Lions and the Chiefs.
Yeah.
However, in reality, the Packers made us Packers fans look foolish. So, John, were you fooled or bamboozled too? You
No,
know,
because I texted you, if
yes,
you
you
remember,
did.
I texted you, and I said to Andy, I said, "Andy, I'm worried about this game," and I said, "Hold me," and he sent me back a nice little gif with John Lithgow holding, one of his co-stars in Third Rock from the Sun, a sitcom back in the '90s. Is very funny if you wanna go see it. 'Cause I was sitting there and I was working on some stuff and things just started popping to my head, like, this is the perfect game for Tommy DeVito to break records and look like an all pro because we do that to journeyman quarterbacks. We do that to quarterbacks who are, well, 4 starts under his belt. It just, I said, I know this. I just know. I have a feeling. So I wasn't saying bamboozled or fooled. I just had this sick feeling in my stomach, like we're gonna blow this. We're gonna find a way to screw up, and unfortunately, I was right. So,
Yep, a lot of people were calling it a trap game. That kept coming
yep,
up in articles and
trap game.
whatnot. People were
Yep.
calling it a trap game for the
Mhm.
Packers, and it was. We fell
Yes,
into
it
that
was.
trap, didn't we? I
Mhm.
think for me, I realized that John, as I was watching Anders Carlson kick some of his field goals, and he made a couple,
Yeah,
but he
right.
just made them. He
Exactly.
just made them, and I was thinking to myself, Anders just doesn't seem focused tonight, and
No, no, no,
usually
no.
he would be kicking it pretty much down the middle, and he
Right.
wasn't.
No.
So it just seemed one of those games that everybody was just a little bit off. And
Yes.
then, of course, Anders missed that crucial field goal toward the end of the
Oh,
game. I think it was a 45-yarder. We'll talk about that
yeah,
again.
yeah,
Their
yeah. We'll
special
get
teams didn't
into
play
it.
very well, by the way.
No.
But anywho, we'll talk about that later. So it just seemed like one of those games that just wasn't going to go our way.
Yeah.
Kind of almost from the get go. I know we got up 7-0 and everything looked great, but it just seemed like every time we
Yeah.
got
To the
ahead,
side. Yeah.
we found ways to mess it up and let them back into the game.
Yep.
So back to harsh reality, right? So
Yeah.
Emmett Prosser of the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel was spot on with his comments relating to this Packers loss when he said this. Apparently, many fans decided, despite having the youngest team in the NFL and missing Aaron Jones, Christian Watson, and Jair Alexander, the Packers were just supposed to waltz into New Jersey and loudly proclaim to the NFC wildcard competitors who the boss was for the
Mhm.
rest of the season.
Yeah.
But that's why we play the games.
Mhm.
End quote. Well, John, Packers fans, the Green Bay Packers football team, lesson learned. There are lessons for this young team. Play to win, not to lose. Don't underestimate your opponent. Never be too overconfident. And control your own destiny. So those are some valuable lessons, don't you think,
Mhm.
John?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So tying in with that, the Packers, controlling their own destiny and whatnot, the Packers went from a 69% probability to a 50% probability of making the playoffs.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, the
No, give me
Vikings
a break.
were now at 7-6. They beat they beat who did they beat? The
Come
Raiders
on.
3-0. Okay, whatever. The Vikings now have a 62% chance of
Give me a
making it. So
break.
they have a better chance than we do. The Bears and the Giants, both at 5-8, are still in it too, thanks to the
The
Packers not taking
Packers.
care of business on the
Yeah.
football field. The Packers, they are now tied at 6-7 with 5 other teams. That's right, 5.
5.
Saints,
Yee.
Falcons, Buccaneers, Seahawks, and Rams. The Packers are still in the hunt. However, they have no margin for error left. If the Packers go 4-0 the rest of the way, they have a 100% chance, John.
There you go.
Packers fans, 4-0, they got to go. If 3-1, they have anywhere from an 89% to 98% chance.
Yeah,
That
not bad.
depends on who they're playing and who they beat and who they lose to. If
Mhm.
they go 2-2, they have a 6% to about a 36% chance, depending again who they win and who they lose to.
Mhm.
If they're 1-3, that's less than 1%. And of course, if they go 0-4, they're out of it. So pretty much if they go 1-3, they're out of it too. So win and you're in. They need to win all 4 games now.
Right.
To make matters worse, John, go ahead.
No,
Go
I
ahead
was
if you
just
had
say
something.
really quickly, so everyone understands. Okay, I looked at the remaining schedules for everyone today. Here's the thing. I think the Vikings are screwed, and I'm glad they're screwed because they have a ridiculous schedule. They have on their schedule 3 winning teams remaining. The Packers have 1. And here's the Vikings schedule. So the Vikings, so you Minnesota fans out there, you got to go to Cincinnati on Saturday. You just barely beat the Raiders. Barely. Okay. And you scored a whopping total of 3 points. Then after that, guess what? They go to Detroit. I think they played Detroit. Detroit comes to Minnesota. Then we come to Minnesota. Green Bay comes to Minnesota. Then it's either they go to Detroit or Detroit comes to there. I didn't look at who's where. So they play Detroit twice in 4 games. There's no way in hell, heaven, and earth they're going to sweep Detroit. It's not
No.
happening. So that's a split. I don't think they beat Cincinnati because Cincinnati's on a roll right now. And for God's
Jake
sakes,
Browning.
yeah, and for God's sakes, if this is the game to show that we can actually make a difference, this is the game that the Packers have to win, which they have not done that. And granted, we'll talk later. We have Tampa Bay coming up, which my God, we always have trouble with Tampa Bay. Then we have Carolina, which is a hot mess. But again, what did we think the Giants were? A hot mess. Then we go to Minnesota, and I believe that is another stupid Sunday night game. So we got to listen to Collinsworth again. And then the Bears
Look at it, smoke
game.
face.
Yeah, oh my God. Then the Bears game is TBD right now because if the Packers are in it to win it, they're going to make that game. Guess what, folks? A Sunday night primetime game, just like they did with Detroit. And oh my God. So that means Andy, we could have Collinsworth twice in the past
Oh
next 4
gosh.
games. If that doesn't want to make you run into a wall with your head, I don't know what is. So
I think I'm gonna
anyway,
put on Wayne Larrivee and Larry McCarron. I
yeah,
hate to
put
say
on
that,
Larry
but
and
yeah.
Wayne and have them not know what down it is.
Yep.
Anyway,
That's
it doesn't matter.
preferable.
It doesn't matter because we like you said here in your next point, to make matters worse,
Yep.
take it from
And
there.
I did want to add, John, the Lions don't have an easy schedule either. I
No, they
don't think they
don't.
play a single team with a losing record moving
No,
forward, and that
no, they
includes, of
don't.
course, the Vikings twice. So the Vikings right
Yeah,
now are 7-6. So
hang
they
on to
they
that.
and I'm not saying Minnesota's tough, but they do have a tough schedule. The Lions do moving forward.
Minnesota, god damn. How
Yep.
did they get to that? They're
I don't know.
whatever.
Yep.
Anyway, go
Yep.
on.
Justin Jefferson's hurt again though, so
Yeah, that
yeah, it's
hurts.
gonna make it tough for them. Plus, they can't figure out who their quarterback is. I
Quarterback.
think they have Nick Mullins in there now, so whatever. Can't figure
So
it out.
hold on really quick. I'm just going to go through this really quick. So this is
Yeah,
Detroit. They have the Broncos on Saturday, so that's not
tough
easy. The
game.
Broncos come to the Lions.
Mhm.
Then the Lions play the Vikings. So the Lions are at the Vikings on Sunday, Christmas Eve. Then the Lions go to the Cowboys on December
Uh-huh.
30th.
And the Cowboys
Then
don't lose at home.
and the Vikings then come to the Lions last game, January 7th. So you're right. The Broncos are no pushover. The
Nope.
Vikings, who cares? But Cowboys, yeah. So yeah.
Yep. I think
This-
I'm probably wrong. The Cowboys, I believe, have won the last 15 games at home
yeah.
in a row.
They're on fire.
So they're
They're
almost automatic at home. So that's
yeah.
probably a loss, I would assume.
Oh, that's
Although the Lions do play well in a good setting and in a dome
yeah,
situation, so
yeah,
who knows?
yeah,
But
yeah,
so anyway, to make matters worse, the Packers had a legit shot
yeah,
to win the
yeah.
NFC North and win
Mm-hmm.
the division. Of course, they blew it by losing on Monday. The Lions got manhandled by the Bears and lost on Sunday. They got their butts kicked.
They did.
Um, they did. They got manhandled. A
They
win
did.
by the Packers against the Giants, and they would have been only 2 games back, but now, of
Ooh.
course, they are 3 games back.
Oh,
In
yeah.
addition, the Lions only play teams again with winning records moving forward. The Packers missed a golden opportunity to possibly win the division.
Yeah.
Division that the
Yeah.
Lions had not won again in 30 years
30 years.
since the days of Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
Uh, on top of it all, I don't know if you knew about this, John. The Packers' defeat allowed the San Francisco 49ers to qualify for the playoffs already.
Yes, I
So
knew that.
figured I'd bring that up. One of our favorite teams to talk about, right?
Oh,
So
great.
that
Yeah.
made matters worse. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So here's some harsh realities why the Packers lost. Let's go through some of those. Matt
Yeah.
LaFleur said it best. This is what he said. When you're bad in all 3 phases, you lose the game. End quote. Thanks,
Yeah.
Matt.
Yeah,
That's true, though. On
Captain Obvious. Yeah.
offense, Jordan Love, who had been so good with protecting the football, turned the ball over twice. He had a fumble
Mhm.
and an interception. Just like all of October, the Packers offense made too many crucial mistakes and left too many points on the field. Also, it didn't help that the injury situation went from bad to worse as the game progressed, with Dontavian Wicks going out. He had an ankle issue, and Jaden Reed went out with a concussion. He also went down.
Mhm.
So again, I didn't realize Reed was out. I don't know if I wasn't paying attention, but he was concussed.
Yes,
So,
he was.
so 2 of our main receivers were out right at toward the end of the game. So that
Mhm.
didn't help. Again, both the pass offense and the run offense lacked explosive plays, just like was happening throughout October. Okay or subpar offense doesn't cut it in the NFL nowadays. So I just wanted to add that. So you're not going to win playing offense like that. I know we scored some points, but we left a lot out there, John, and that's why we lost the game. We
Yeah.
didn't protect the football, and we left a lot of opportunities out on the field. So
Mm-hmm.
the Packers were also not okay on defense.
Jeez.
Oh my gosh. So again, a harsh reality. As Jacob Westendorf from SI.com wrote, this is what he said. The blueprint for the game should have been simple. Make Tommy DeVito beat you with his arm, end quote.
Yeah.
That didn't happen, did it, John?
No, it didn't.
Nope. The Giants had given up 69 sacks for the season. The Packers got 0.
Yeah, I know.
0 sacks during the game and
Ridiculous.
only 2 quarterback hits. Only 2, John. That part really struck me. Okay, you didn't get any sacks, but 2 quarterback hits? Really?
Yeah.
To make matters worse, our pass rushers allowed Tommy DeVito to escape the pocket with undisciplined rushes.
Yes.
The defense also had no clue how to defend the run pass option, the RPO, did it? Had no clue how to defend all the scrambles and the designed runs for the opposing quarterback. As a result, the rookie, undrafted, third-string quarterback DeVito rushed 10 times for 71 yards. He was actually leading them in rushing, John, up until the very end of the game. Oh my gosh. The Giants ran, and John, you already know this, for 209 yards. 209 yards. It has happened again and again and again and again, 4 times in 2023. Unbelievable. It's just unbelievable, John. It keeps happening.
Yeah.
The biggest problem for the Packers on defense was its game plan and Joe Barry. Everyone, this is right. This is from me, John. This is from the heart. Everyone could see it. You play zone all night. You play off these pedestrian Giants receivers. John, Packers fans, we had 0 pass breakups. 0.
Yeah.
And you don't change a thing the entire game to stop the run. Stop the run. Let Tommy DeVito beat you through the air. Correct. Just an idiotic game plan. Just an idiot for a defensive coordinator. And I'm just going to stop there. John, you want to chime in on any of that before I head to special team?
You know the way I
feel my
gosh,
pathetic.
I want to do hashtag fire Joe Barry. But here's something that's I always like to listen on my way home after I cool down a little bit. This took a lot.
Mark Tauscher again?
Down. No, I didn't listen to Tauscher. I listened to a guy at 1670, and I always forget his name. He's actually pretty good. And he was like, okay, you had all your healthy guys. You had Kenny Clark, you had Rashawn Gary, you had Preston Smith, you had Lucas Van Ness, and they couldn't generate pressure against a makeshift offensive line. And it's easy to say, well, Joe Barry should do a stunt, twist, blah, blah, blah. But really, does he really need to do that when you have someone of Rashawn Gary's caliber, of Preston Smith, who's been playing really well, of Kenny Clark? He's in and out. Lucas Van Ness, he's still learning. But come on, guys. You had 4 guys against a makeshift offensive line that given up over 60 sacks. I mean, what?
69.
69. So
almost 70 sacks.
So, but here's my thing so I'll give you that. I'll let you have that. But here's my thing. When Quay Walker is not in there, there's a huge difference. Like Jair Alexander, there's a little difference here and there. Yep. Yeah, you could say that. But when Quay Walker's not in there, it's huge. I love Isaiah McDuffie. I love that guy. He's all heart. He's good tackler. He's a smart guy. But speed, no. There is no speed. Yep. And I guarantee you, we have a healthy Quay Walker. I'm not saying we win this game because we screwed up a lot. But if we had a healthy Quay Walker, I'm guaranteeing you, Tommy DeVito is not running for 71 yards. He might get a couple, here and there. Might run off a 20-yarder, but he ain't running for 71. He's maybe like, I don't know, 5 rushes for maybe 30 yards or something because we all can't set the edge again. We all cannot spy the quarterback. But the thing that bugged me out of all this is at the end of the game, we are playing prevent defense basically against a bunch of no-name receivers who are
Yep.
lucky to be in the NFL. And I don't care what you say, there isn't a star or an up-and-coming guy on that whole freaking team. And I mean, Keyshawn Nixon, what are you doing? Like, seriously, guy? You're just like, oh, hey, look, he ran past me. I guess I don't know. I mean, what they should have
He wasn't
done,
even close to him. To
right?
Wan'Dale
What
Robinson, we let him
right?
go off for over
Yeah.
100 yards too.
So here's my thing:
Wan'Dale Robinson,
you
seriously?
play
The guy tore
man,
his ACL last year.
yeah, right. You play man coverage, and I get the argument with man coverage. If he gets by you, you're screwed. Because if you don't have the safety help or whatever, and he gets by you, yeah, you're screwed. I get that. But come on. You can't let these guys get by you, and you
But
can't play 20 yards off.
they were
Yeah,
giving them cushion.
yeah, 20-yard cushion,
That last
10-yard
drive, they were
cushion.
giving them, Carrington Valentine, he was 10, 15 yards off the
That's what I
receiver.
mean. Are you insane?
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, you're not playing
Exactly.
Debo Samuel. You're not playing
Right.
the top guys out there. We're not playing,
Exactly.
yeah. And
You
what
can
was
play prevent, but you don't let them get out of bounds either. They were not
no,
keeping them in bounds because they were giving
no.
them such a cushion.
So here's the
So,
here's the thing that drives me nuts about Joe Barry. He'll play man when he should play zone. He'll play zone when he would play man. And then I'm thinking, did we blitz on that? So I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna God forbid, but I'm gonna go back and rewatch some things. I'm like, why didn't you at least try a zero blitz or an all-out blitz? You come on, you telling me he's gonna handle that? A
yep, gotta
guy,
make them uncomfortable,
yeah,
John.
right,
Do
make him
something.
right. And if he throws the ball, if you do like an all-out blitz, right, and you basically have maybe 3 guys in coverage or whatever the hell you want to say, you're just coming at him. Come on. You telling me we couldn't have got to him? That's bullshit. That
They had way too much time. They
they
had
had
way too much
tons
time on
of
the
time,
clock. You could not play defense that way. You could
tons of
not
time.
give them that prevent. You could not just let them go down the field. All they had to do is kick a field goal.
That's what I'm
And they had
saying.
way too much time on the clock. They had too many
Th-
timeouts.
So yeah, I mean, it
It
was
just didn't
just
make
like
any sense.
everybody it had, and if you're not familiar with this term, you should be. It's called brain farts. When you just like, we've all been there where we're like sitting there thinking about something, and we're like, now what the hell was I doing again? Like, what was I'm in this room for a reason. Now what? And you have that brain fart, right? Oh, I can't remember the name, or why was I in this room, or what was I thinking of? And that the whole damn team had that. And I just was watching it. I'm like, what are we doing? And it's not on Joe Barry per se on this one. It was execution. It was just so many things. And you see our secondary, which really sucks when we just are not playing physical and we're not up for the game. Kansas City, we were up for that game. Detroit, we were up for that game. You just could tell, you could smell it. But this game, we were like, yeah, okay. Like, whoa, 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 whoa. Just like we said
Yep.
earlier, they totally underestimated the opponent, totally weren't ready. And that's who's that fall to? That's Matt LaFleur. So, anyway, special teams, Rich
Yep.
Bisaccia.
Another harsh reality why we
Yeah,
lost. Yeah, there was just an article on him just recently that
yeah.
that I didn't put that information in here, but he's catching some heat now too.
Yeah, he is.
And I'll tell you why in a second. So on special
Here we go.
teams, the Packers had too many stupid penalties. An illegal blindside block by Anthony Johnson and a
Yeah.
personal foul
Dumb.
for kick catch interference by Rudy Ford. The
Mm-hmm.
Packers have a league worst 20 special teams penalties, by the way.
Jeez.
John, did you know that? 20.
Yes, I did. Yep.
Okay.
Ugh.
Keyshawn Nixon.
Oh,
Keyshawn
boy.
Nixon.
He's your
Keyshawn
boy.
Nixon fumbled a punt, which
Oh, yeah.
turned into a giant go-ahead touchdown.
Mhm.
Yeah, the Packers had 3 crucial turnovers on that night.
Mm.
Anders Carlson barely made 2 field goals, but missed a 45-yard field goal with the Packers trailing 21-13. That would have helped the cause.
Yeah.
So I figured I'd add that one in. And so you can't make every single one, I understand, but he just
No,
looked
you
a little
can't.
bit
You
off
can't.
all
Yeah,
night.
yeah. Mhm.
Again, harsh reality why we lost. The head coaching was suspect. Matt
Yeah.
LaFleur lost the
I know.
challenge in the first half that cost the Packers a timeout and potentially more points. I think that was Wan'Dale Robinson again. He made the catch along the sideline. There was no doubt. It was right along the Packers sideline, but yet he challenges it, and the guy
Yeah,
was
right.
in. Everybody could even in real time, you knew he was in,
Yeah.
right? Which was
Mhm.
kind of dumb. So from
Yeah.
that standpoint, we would add another timeout toward the end of the half. That could have been points for us. So,
Correct.
again, he called a reverse. This is the one that got me. He called a
Yeah,
reverse on a
boy.
2-point conversion that
Yeah.
would have put the Packers up by a field goal at the end of the game. And again, that was to Jaden Reed. You're at the 2-yard line or whatever, and you're running a reverse like that
Running a
takes
reverse.
too long to develop.
Yeah.
When you got 2 yards, everybody is in that confined space, all the defenders. Again, dumb. That was a dumb call. Dumb
Yeah.
call. And I think LaFleur owned up to that after the game, but I'm
Yes, he
sorry.
did.
You got to have a better idea of what you want to run than
Mhm.
that
Yeah,
on
right.
that play. You should know that before the game starts.
Right.
You should have 1, 2 plays, maybe 3, whatever it is,
Yeah,
your
right.
go-to play. That would not be
Mhm.
one of them. That would not be one of the top 3 plays, John.
No.
No way.
No.
So again, dumb.
Mhm.
It took a total team effort in all 3 phases to beat the Lions and the Chiefs. They did
Correct.
that. It also required a complete team effort to get beat by the Giants. Congratulations to the Packers. Horrible offense, defense, and special teams
Mhm.
performances. So,
Mm.
but now we're going to switch gears and we're going to get positive, John, if that's all right with you. If you have
Yay!
something to add. So,
No, we're good.
we're going to talk about some positive things. We're going to talk about, because I love astronomy, we're going to talk about Packers supernovas. So supernova, rookie tight end Tucker Kraft looked really good. He had 4 receptions for 64 yards. He didn't go down easily. He had
No, he did not.
some yards after the catch. He had some yak. Nice hands. He caught the ball. All 4 of his targets. He caught all 4. That's the first key. Catch the ball. Tucker picked up some key first downs and had a 43-yard chunk play. So hats off to Tucker Kraft. He played great.
Yes.
Luke Musgrave isn't here. And so he has stepped up big time. So
Yes, he has.
supernova.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I'm talking about. Another
Yeah.
supernova. Rookie wide receiver Jaden Reed
My boy.
was the Packers' best ball carrier. He
Yeah.
rushed, if you can believe that, he rushed 4 times for 38 yards and a score. He caught a team high 8 passes for 27 yards, only 27 yards, but he caught 8 passes. He led the team in that respect. He was the only player on offense who looked and played special, John. So
Yeah.
I'm calling him a supernova.
All right.
Another supernova, undrafted rookie wide receiver Malik Heath caught his first TD to put us up by 1 at the end of the game. So actually he caught 2 touchdowns because that first one was a touchdown too. I'm telling everybody, I saw another game earlier in the day, and on that same play, that same call, they called that a touchdown.
Don't get us
You
started
catch
with the
the
ref.
ball, you have control, 2 feet
It's
down,
bullshit.
you make a football move. He took a step. then it got knocked out.
Yep.
That's a touchdown.
That
So
is
that would have
touchdown.
given us more time on the clock, John, right? I could
Yep.
just go off on this.
Yeah.
So there would have been a chance we would have got the ball back and maybe been able to win the game.
Yeah. Who knows, right? Right.
Who knows? But we'll never know, will we?
No,
So
we won't. Thanks to the refs.
yeah, yeah. So the last supernovas that I wanted to mention, the Packers fans. We heard a lot of "Go Pack Go" during that game.
Yeah.
They are the best fans in the NFL and travel with their team and give the Packers their undying support. So
Absolutely.
that's off to them. So usually you don't hear that, but that's happened a lot this year. So I wanted
Yeah.
to give a shout out to the Packers fans. They are supernovas. And then John, Packers, any players of the game that you could think of? I've only got two.
Yep.
Tucker
Go ahead.
Kraft and Jaden Reed. I already talked about those two.
Yep.
I have nobody on special teams and nobody on the defense. I've got Tucker Kraft and Jaden Reed. They're it. Nobody else deserved a medal, an award for after the game for their how great they were. Only Tucker Kraft and Jaden Reed. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all
So
I've got.
two quick things off of that. So people, if you're diehard football fans, I'm going to change. I originally said Tucker Kraft could be Gronk, but he's physical, but he's not that physical. But he came up with a guy that I thought was a guy, for the 49ers. Brent Jones. Now that is a way back machine. You got to go back and you got to look at Brent Jones highlights. The reason I say that is because Brent Jones was just one of those guys, just found a way to get open, would get some yak. He wouldn't run over anybody. He wasn't smashing your teeth in or anything like, some of the bigger tight ends in there. But I really like what Tucker Kraft has done. You can see the confidence growing on him. And I'm begging you, Matt LaFleur. I'm totally begging you. Once Musgrave comes back, whether it's this season or next season, because by the way, he has a lacerated kidney, so you don't know what that means for the guy, right? Either you want to risk it or you don't. But he's a young guy. I don't know if I want to risk it bringing him back, but we'll see. But imagine, Andy, Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave, two tight ends.
Yep.
Musgrave has already shown he can get open and he can make a difference. Tucker Kraft is, again, I'm begging Matt LaFleur, figure out your game plan, okay? If things start to go sideways, get it to the tight end, okay? Because the linebackers are going to have trouble, big trouble, trying to cover either one or both. And that game plan can help you win games. Instead of giving Jaden Reed the damn ball on the same damn play and having him be concussed, I think this is his second or maybe even third concussion. I mean, geez, let the kid get in there. I get it, but let's figure this out. So anyway, the other quick thing is Rashawn Gary. We've been, Andy and I have been singing your praises, have been praising you. What happened? I don't know, Rashawn Gary, did you eat something before the game? Did you eat some Pepto? Because he looked like he had SHIT in his pants. There were times where he was rushing the quarterback and then he oh, there he goes.
Yeah.
He's kind of jogging after him. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, those RPOs where he didn't know where the ball was. That happened several times. So
yeah, he just looked lost. And I'm like, are you come on, man. So anyway, what do you have to say about Rashawn Gary before we get the black holes?
Well, he's in the black holes.
Okay, so
we're going to talk about some negatives now. Unfortunately, everybody, we talked about the supernovas, and now we're going to talk about black holes. So we're only referring to astronomy when we're talking about black holes. Okay.
Yeah.
So the first black hole We aren't calling people names. This has nothing to do with, what everybody thinks this has to do with. It has nothing to do, just everything to do with astronomy. Okay. So black hole. Keyshawn Nixon had a really bad game. We already talked about that. Really bad.
Really bad.
He got beat consistently, constantly defending the pass, including a crucial 32-yard reception to Wan'Dale Robinson to set up a game-winning field goal. We already talked about that. He couldn't tackle. He had that crucial fumble on a punt, which, again, they scored a touchdown off of that. So black hole, again, not good. Not good, John. Another black hole that I wanted to talk about, because I can't let this one slide. Jair Alexander. Shut your damn mouth.
Yeah.
I'm saying this again. W.G. Brady of DetroitSportsNation.com. This is from Detroit. Even called him a big mouth.
Yeah.
A big mouth in capital letters in one of the articles that he wrote. Okay.
Yeah.
Alexander really likes to make predictions, especially when he doesn't play. Great idea, Jair. Just continue to give the opposing team bulletin board material.
Yeah.
If you aren't going to play, why would anyone care what you have to say or think?
Yep.
Shut your pie hole. Black hole. So now we're going to talk about the next black hole. And let's see, something to say to Jair that I haven't already said to him. But he really needs to shut up.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Right. Get in here and help us win some ball games.
Some games. Yeah.
Yeah, because we've been winning ball games without you anyway. And we didn't win last week, but I don't know if it wouldn't have made any difference if you would have been in the lineup or not.
It wouldn't have made a difference.
Come on.
It would. No.
But just shut it. Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So another black hole. Unfortunately, Jordan Love regressed backwards.
That sucks.
The wind at MetLife Stadium was affecting his passes. If anybody didn't notice that especially in the first half, just float that football up there then. Huh?
Yeah.
Jordan, you were very lucky that you didn't have 4 interceptions in the first half alone.
Right,
there must have been at least, John, 4 passes, 5 or more that could have been intercepted. They're like, wee.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Up in the air. And it's like they're up in the air forever.
Yeah, it's like a kite.
If what the hell's if the Giants would have a better secondary, they probably would have intercepted 4 of them.
Easily.
But those passes weren't even close. And we had some receivers that were open, maybe not wide open, but they were open enough, and he couldn't get the ball to them. So anyway, Jordan Love, not his best game. So anyway, so again, Rashawn Gary, black hole. Black holes for the entire defensive line. Jeez. That included Rashawn Gary, who looked totally lost trying to figure out who had the ball. Yeah. This is by far his worst game as a Packer.
Worst game. Absolutely.
I think it is his worst game. So yeah, not a good shout out for him. So no, he was not good. With starting linebacker Quay Walker out, and I know you love Isaiah McDuffie, but I'm saying black hole. He tried to fill in. He got caught out of position multiple times, John. If you were watching some of those runs,
he did.
He was getting caught up in blocks, and he looked slow.
Yes,
he had filled in admirably most of the year, but he wasn't a difference maker on Monday night. He was especially slow in pass coverage, by the way. A lot of the guys he was trying to cover were wide open. So again, another black hole there. So
yeah.
Any more black holes you want to talk about, John? Or are we going to move on?
The whole damn game was a black hole.
Yes.
So I will
into an abyss of despair.
Yeah, So I will take over this segment. And I'm working on a theme song. I got to figure something out here. I got to get a piano or something because it's Ask Andy. Yeah, okay, I wouldn't.
Okay, what? Okay.
So one thing really struck me interesting during the Eagles Cowboys game. Andy and I were watching it. We were texting back and forth. And the head coach of the Eagles, I always forget his name. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Head coach of the Eagles, he loves Al Harris. Like he was praising him, and he says one of the things is that he thinks Al Harris should be a defensive coordinator in the NFL. Al Harris right now is the defensive backs coach for the Dallas Cowboys, and their secondary is one of the best secondaries in the NFL. If you haven't noticed, and he's doing a very, very good job. And so the question I'm going to ask Andy is,
Yeah, and it's
would
Nick
you,
Sirianni, by the way, is the
Nick
Eagles
Sirianni? Thank you so much.
head coach. Yeah,
Thank you.
he's a good coach.
He's a
Doesn't
good
always
coach.
do well at
He's a
press
little.
conferences,
He's
but
sometimes he gets a little bit mouthy. Sometimes
yeah,
he's like, "Yeah, dude, shut up. All right, you got a good
okay.
team." So, would you, Andy, hire L. Harris? Like I said, he's defensive backs for the Dallas Cowboys to be, please, our new defensive coordinator because we're not keeping Joe Barry in the offseason. I'm telling you.
No, we are not. Hopefully before the
All
end of
right.
the year.
So what do you got for me, buddy?
Maybe the conservative Green Bay Packers approach of hiring defensive coordinators who have been defensive coordinators before needs to end and end now.
I
Maybe the
agree.
Packers need to hire someone that is hungry, someone that can invigorate the defense, someone who has the passion and the fire to remake the defense in his own image. Maybe that person is someone like Al Harris. John, remember that play he made in the 2003 NFC
Ah,
wildcard game 2 decades
love it.
ago?
Yep.
Harris made Seahawks quarterback Matt Hasselbeck eat his words. The game
Literally.
went into overtime, where at the coin toss, Hasselbeck famously said, "We want the ball and we're going to score." End quote.
Great.
During the
I love
second
it.
overtime possession for the Suckhawks, he threw an interception to Packers cornerback Al Harris, which he promptly returned 52 yards down the sideline for a touchdown. It gave the Packers a thrilling 33-27 overtime victory. By the way, that is ranked the number 4 interception of all time by
Nice.
NFL Films. Interesting little tidbit.
Nice.
Very interesting.
Very
Sometimes, like Al Harris, you just have to anticipate. And that's what Harris said after that when he was being the reporters were in the locker room. He said
Mhm,
it was anticipation. He had to anticipate and make
mhm.
an aggressive play.
Yeah.
Maybe the Packers organization should start doing that.
Mhm.
Anticipate who may be an up and coming defensive genius guru and hire that guy. Right now, the Packers do not have that guy. We
Mhm.
need that guy. So does that answer it, John?
Yes, it
So
does.
that John hopefully is
And
maybe it is Al Harris.
and he's under right now Dan Quinn, who has turned the Dallas's defense into one of the best. I would argue San Francisco number 1 right now, Dallas number 2. I would argue that. I'm sure you can throw other teams in there like Philadelphia, but they're starting to slip. You can throw Baltimore in there. They still have a pretty decent defense. Cleveland, but I just think he would be such a um, breath of fresh air, to come in and help us. So let's get to the second question. We already talked about this. So, how
No,
bad is
no, we
the
didn't.
officiating?
Not this part, but go right
Well,
ahead.
we've
Ask me
talked
the
about the
question.
officials. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
How
we have.
bad? How bad is the officiating in the NFL, Andy?
The officiating is so bad in the NFL, John, so bad that
Yeah.
NFL fans are convinced that a ref dropped his weed or vape pen onto the field as he was picking up a football during the Dolphins Titans Monday Night Football game. To answer your question, John, it's bad.
Right.
John, football fans, just look at the videos or pictures online. Yes, John, yes, Packer fans, you cannot make this stuff up. It's really bad. So did you see that, John? See
Yes,
that
I
vape
did,
pen or
and I
the
laughed.
weed or whatever it was?
Yeah,
Okay.
I
I
laughed
just
so hard. I thought that was just perfect. 'Cause this is
Uh-huh.
what these guys feel like. I just think some of them are on something. Cause some of these calls
Exactly.
lately, I'm just like, and I have a thing, and you can do this too, Packer Blitz fans, Packer fans, including Andy. You go on YouTube and you put in bad officiating, and there's a guy, I don't know, he must have a lot of free time on his hands, that takes all the bad calls and puts them in a video. And usually that video is anywhere from 20 minutes to a half an hour long. Now think about that for a second, because usually a bad call is like a minute. You know
Wow.
what I'm saying? It's usually they come out and they say
Yeah.
roughing the passer,
How long?
you
How
know,
long?
number. It's like 20 minutes to a half an hour sometimes.
Gosh.
Yeah, he
Okay.
takes the entire week. He takes
Wow.
every game, and finds something, at least one thing, if not more. He had
Mm.
one game he found 5 different calls. And I can't remember which game that is, but it's bad. It's just so bad. And Goodell, Roger Goodell, which come on, he gonna do anything? No. He's just gonna keep on keeping on and be like, well, against them so egregious that people are gonna lose their mind. So all right. So let's go into game preview.
Okay. You want to go ahead and do that one, John?
Yeah. Let me give you a little break here. So oh boy, here we go. So game preview: Packers versus Buccaneers at Lambeau Field,
Arr.
Saturday. Saturday. No, sorry, folks. Sunday, December 17th. It's at
Yep.
noon. It's on
There are
CBS.
some Saturday games, John, coming
Yes,
up.
there's 3 Saturday.
So,
That's why I was
yep.
in my head.
Right.
Sunday, December 17th, noon, CBS. Oh boy. Yes, Packer fans and Packer Blitz fans, we are favored by 3.5. Oh boy. So here we go. The Buccaneers lead and to say the NFC South is absolutely awful is an understatement. Okay. The NFC South division 6 and 7. There are 2 players on offense that you have to stop. And here we go. Rashid White, he is 745 yards, rushing 5, rushing touchdowns, 43 receptions for 419 yards, and 2 receiving TDs. He has 1,164 total yards and 7 touchdowns. Uh, with him also is Mike Evans, who is again, and we can't stop him. That's why I'm totally like,
Yep.
somebody stop him, because that's going to be, he's the guy. The
One of the
only
best.
receiver, yeah, he is really good. So he's the only receiver in
This is
NFL
why.
history to have 10 straight seasons, 10 people with over 1,000 yards receiving to start his career.
Hmm.
Only really other guy that has ever done that is, yes, you guessed it, Jerry Rice, Hall of Famer. He did that 11 years in a row.
Yep.
So
But
to
not
even
from
be
the
in the,
start of his career,
but
though,
not to
John.
the start of his, yeah,
Correct.
excuse me.
So, yeah.
So just to
So Evans has
clarify,
the record for
mhm,
that, but
yeah,
he
so
hasn't
Evans has the
surpassed the
record to
11 in a
clarify
row.
that.
Okay. Yep.
But either way, it's extremely impressive. And yes, those are the 2 guys you got to key on and you got to be able to stop. Mike Evans, if we don't have Jair Alexander, which even if he comes back, he's not going to be 100%. So we're going to have to figure out how to stop him. Now, Mike Evans is currently tied with, oh boy, this is
Yes.
hilarious.
Yes.
Former Packer wideout Devontae Adams with 91
E-
receiving touchdowns
exactly
in
the
his
same.
career and
Hmm.
currently ranks 13th of all time. By the
Yep.
way, Jerry Rice, of course, is number 1 with 197 career TDs. So yes, he's really good. He's going to be a pain in the butt all game for us, and we have to figure out how to stop him. Okay, he's one of the keys. And we already know about the running back. We can't stop anybody.
Yep.
But here we go.
Yep.
Baker
Rashad White
Mayfield.
White is really good. Rashad White. Yep.
Yes, he's really good. And we can't stop the run anyway, Andy. So I'm not even going to waste my breath
Yep.
on how
But they
we
do
stop.
have one of the worst running offenses in the league. They're ranked 29th, I believe, John, which you're
And the
about to say.
Giants gave up 69 sacks. Did we get a sack? No. Okay, so let's move on.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
Baker Mayfield, my favorite guy in the world. How he sticks around is I don't know. But anyway, he's having a pretty good year. He has 2,934 yards, 20 TDs, and only 8 interceptions. So, they're comparable to J Love, but Baker Mayfield's been in the league and he's bounced around, but he's still, you cannot forget he can run and he will take off running. Tampa Bay's rush game is ranked 29th, which is very deceiving because guess who sucks at the run? That would be us, the Packers. Tampa Bay's defense is on par with Green Bay, giving up 20 points a game. Green Bay's 21.5. Where the Buccaneers defense excels is getting to the quarterback, 37 sacks. That's 10th in the league, and getting turnovers, 11 interceptions. So, yes, they are a very, no, I wouldn't say blitz happy, but very good turnovers, very sack happy. They will come at you, and that's going to be interesting how we handle that. And there are two players you have to know where they are at on defense if you're J-Love. Linebacker Levante David, he has 96 tackles, 3 sacks, and 4 passes defended. Yeah, I've seen this guy. He's only been in 11 games. He's really good. And they have a really nice safety too, Antonio Whitfield Jr. Antoine, excuse me, I always do that. I believe he was the guy in 2021 NFC Championship game that knocked the ball out of Aaron Jones. I might be thinking of a different guy. Okay.
Yeah.
He leads the team
he was
with
the
97.
rookie, I think, that year.
Yeah, that year. Yeah. He leads the team with 97 tackles and has 4 sacks and 2 interceptions, 4 fumbles. So, forced fumbles. So in other words, this is not the reason I've been going, sounding like I have an upset stomach, is because this was the game I thought, okay, we'll beat the Giants. We lose to these guys. It's okay. We never play Tampa Bay well. Aaron Rodgers can't beat them. Brett Favre couldn't beat them. I mean, if you look at our record against Tampa Bay, there's a little bit of where we were beating them here and there, but all in all, Tampa Bay has just found a way to beat us, whether at Lambeau or whether there. So, anything that before I get to the Packers?
Nope, they're very, very deep on defense. They have a lot of really good players on defense. So they're stacked on defense. I just picked 2 of the top ones, but they have a really good defense overall.
They have a very good defense
on all 3 levels.
Yes. So this is gonna have to be our game. We played against Detroit and we played against Kansas City, where those are 2 good defenses, solid defenses, and we made them look bad. And I think, we have to look at it that way and have to get that. So we need to protect the football. Obviously, we cannot give them turnovers. That's the first thing. We need to be physical, like you said, with Mike Evans here off the line of scrimmage. That's going to be harder to do than you think. Mike Evans is a very big, strong guy, but you're going to have to double cover him. You're going to have to say, Evans, you're not beating me. If some other guy beats you, okay, well, that happens, right? You cannot let him get out over the top with Mike Evans or you're screwed. He will beat you and he will be in the end zone. You got to watch that.
Yeah, he's one of Baker Mayfield's favorite targets in the end zone. So that's why I put that in there, John, is because he loves those kind of like lob tosses to the back shoulder throws or lob tosses to like the corner of the end zone or the back edge of the end zone. He's so tall and lanky, he can make those catches, and he has huge hands, by the way, supposedly. And so he's just able to catch these passes that most normal receivers just can't.
Yeah.
So
hopefully Quay Walker will be back. I'm not really sure he will be back. Andy and I noticed in the Kansas City game, he played. He had 13 tackles. He didn't look himself. He just looked a little bit out of step, and he looked like he was trying to shield himself. Because when he is 100%, this guy is real, making 19, 20 tackles a game. So there's a difference when he's out there.
Yep.
And you can't allow Rashid White out of the backfield. That's where Quay Walker comes in. If McDuffie's on him, we're screwed because he's not going to be able to stop him. And you can't allow him to run routes freely and sit down in zone coverage, maul him, bump him aggressively around the line of scrimmage, which again, McDuffie, that's not his strong point. His strong point is to kind of back people up and to come in there and, he'll get there and he'll get where he's supposed to be, but it's a little too late. And that's just because he just doesn't have the speed or the
He's
power.
not as athletic.
No,
he's not as athletic as Quay is.
All right, here we go with predictions, and we suck. Do you want to give your prediction, Andy?
Yeah, I've 4 bad predictions in a row, so I'm 7-6 on the season. So, John, we won't even mention where you're at, but I'm 7-6. I'm still above 500. So at least I'm not 6-7 like the Packers are, right?
Yeah.
So I'm predicting the Packers are going to win 27-20 over the Buccaneers. The Packers are back at home. They will play more inspired football, I hope, after an embarrassing loss in prime time. And the Buccaneers are just slightly worse than we are. So, I'm saying 27-20, 24-20, 23-20, something like that. So, but 27-20, that's what I got.
So that sounds good to me.
Okay.
Because I gave up. I said I would never pick the Packers from here on out after some of my predictions have gone south. So I'll go with you what you're saying, buddy.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. All right. So turning the page.
Yeah, the Packers need to turn the page. They need to put the loss to the New York Giants behind them. They need to write the next 4 chapters of this book to get where they want to go and to make this book, this season, have a happy ending. The Packers need to win these next 4 games. That starts this week against the Tampa Bay Bucks at Lambeau on Sunday. According to Frank Schwab of Yahoo Sports, we've used him before. He says, this is a quote from him, Packers have a favorable remaining schedule, but that bad loss was a reminder the Packers aren't quite there yet. They just can't let that loss linger, end quote. By the way, he has the Packers currently ranked number 15 in the NFL power rankings. That's about right. We're kind of in the middle of the pack.
Yeah.
John, Packers Blitz fans, Colin Cowherd doubled down today and said once again that the Packers are going to make the playoffs.
No.
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? No.
John?
No. La, I'm not listening. Oh my God. You're killing me with that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Don't listen to that last
The good thing is, John, Packers fans, football fans out there, Colin Cowherd is off tomorrow. So make sure you turn into the herd with Colin Cowherd tomorrow. That would be it starts at 11 Central Standard Time and goes till about 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. And he won't be on tomorrow, though. So it'd be, I think it's his sidekick, Jason McIntyre, but he's just as bad sometimes. But again, he's not Colin Cowherd.
Not listening. All right. So this is a great show. Again, we tried to be positive Packer fans, but we all got to we've said this a million times. We'll say it again. We're the best fans out there. We got to stay positive. We got to be able to get through this. And I know hopefully we will. And remember, nobody, with the exception of small few, me, I believe, I can't remember, Andy, if you said that they were going to make the playoffs this year. So
we win all 4 games. We're 100% in. We are
Yeah.
not
Okay.
eliminated yet. We have a
Yes.
50% chance right
Yes.
now. If they win all 4
And
games, they're in.
yes. Yeah. And if you told me that when they were 3-6, as we went through our episodes here,
Yes.
Andy and I were like,
You would have
no.
been like an NFL referee and be smoking something.
It's a little Cheech and Chong action. Look that up,
Yes,
kids.
right.
So anyway, again, subscribe, hit like, wherever you listen to Packers Blitz and your favorite hosting site, Spotify, Apple, YouTube. Please send us an email at packersblitz80@gmail.com. Andy and I love to hear things. Even, like I said, even if you make fun of my hair or make fun of my weight or something, I'm totally cool with it. I don't care. I'm an old dude. I'm like, I'll go with that. But please, do that. Please support us in any way you can. And well, that's it for the show tonight.
Yeah,
All I
we
have to
need
say
more
is go.
Ask Andy questions though, John. So we
Yes,
need
and we'll
to,
get some Ask Andy questions.
yeah, get
Yes,
some more
thank
Ask
you.
Andy
Please put
questions.
those in
So
there.
come on,
Please.
everybody. Yeah,
Come
Packers
on.
Blitz
Let's
fans,
hear it.
send them on in.
Yeah, yeah. So we just ended it like we always do. Go Pack Go.
Go Pack, go.
All right, love you, buddy. Talk later.